Behold, the Lord comes to save his people. Blessed are those prepared to meet him. The Lord be with you and with your spirit. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. Glory to you, O Lord. At that time, Jesus walked by the Sea of Galilee, went up on the mountain, and sat down there. Great crowds came to him, having with them the lame, the blind, the deformed, the mute, and many others. They placed them at his feet, and he cured them. The crowds were amazed when they saw the mute speaking, the deformed made whole, the lame walking, and the blind able to see. And they glorified the God of Israel. Jesus summoned his disciples and said, "My heart is moved with pity for the crowd, for they have been with me now for 3 days and have nothing to eat. I do not want to send them away angry, for fear they may collapse on the way." The disciples said to him, "Where could we ever get enough bread in this deserted place to satisfy such a crowd?" Jesus said to them, "How many loaves do you have?" 7, they replied, "and a few fish." He ordered the crowd to sit down on the ground. Then he took the 7 loaves and the fish, and gave thanks, broke the loaves, and gave them to the disciples, who in turn gave them to the crowds. They all ate and were satisfied. They picked up the fragments left over, 7 baskets full. The Gospel of the Lord. Good afternoon, everyone. A particular grace of Advent is to relearn to see, to speak, and to walk freely, according to the logic of God. And Jesus wants to reveal his love to all of us. And in the prophecy that we're contemplating in the Gospel today, gives us a path to encounter this revelation of his love in the Eucharist. The Lord, above all, brings his people 3 days in the desert. That reminds us of the 3 days that Moses with the people of Israel had to leave Egypt. And so the mountain and 3 days in the desert remind us of Sinai. So it's a place of a covenant. The Lord wants to enter into a covenant with us. That is to invite us to share a life with him. And also this covenant is not a passive covenant. He wants us to participate in his work of gathering all his peoples with his heart. And so blessing and sharing the bread, the Lord also chooses disciples to share the bread. It's the mission of the new covenant, that the Lord wants to give his own heart in the Eucharist. But not only his own heart, but he also wants us to offer our hearts to the work of the new covenant. That is, that we may be these Eucharistic hearts transformed that connect the people to others. The 7 with the heart of Christ. That Advent is a time to return to the Eucharistic heart of Jesus, this particular manifestation of his love, and that we connect others with the presence of Jesus in the Eucharist. 7 baskets, 7, which is the number of the first covenant in creation. and also the name of the 7 tribes that occupied the promised land. So 7 also means a new creation for all the peoples. That this Advent, the Lord is inviting us to a simpler contemplation, one dispossessed of ourselves, so for His love in the Eucharist, and also contemplating His Eucharistic love, bringing many to encounter the Lord in the Eucharist, inviting many to leave the deserts of life and to encounter this love which satiates the thirst and the hunger that we have, all of us have. We conclude with these words of our Mother Foundress. Advent is a time of waiting and preparation to contemplate and participate in the manifestations of God, of a God who has been made flesh and dwells among us, and above all, continues dwelling in the Eucharist, all for the heart of Jesus through the heart of Mary.